Michigan is truly in a heap of trouble. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me quickly explain everything that's going on. So let's take this back to the 2022-2023 season, when Michigan was coming under fire for allegedly having its staff member, Connor Stallions, basically show up to these schools such as Ohio State, Rutgers, all of these Big Ten schools, and basically steal their signs. And if you're wondering, yes, this is the same exact season when Michigan won the championship game. Now, during this time, the University of Michigan actually suspended Jim Harbaugh for all of these accusations, all of these reports, all of the sign stealing. And now, as of recently, the NCAA concluded their investigation on the sign stealing allegations, and they've imposed a whole lot of penalties to the Wolverines. So here they are. So let's start first with the financial penalties. They have a fine of $50,000 plus 10% of the budget for the football program. They have a fine equal to the anticipated loss of postseason competition revenue sharing, both for this upcoming season and for next season. And they have a fine equal to 10% of the scholarships that were awarded for this upcoming football season. Now let's move on to the recruitment penalties. They have a 25% reduction in official football recruitments for this season, and they have a 14-week prohibition on recruiting communications. And now let's move on to the show cause penalty that were imposed, which basically means that if any school wants to hire these individuals, then they would have to show a reason to the NCAA as to why they should be hired and why they would not make these same violations again. So first, let's start with Jim Harbaugh. Of course, he was the head coach for Michigan at that point, currently the head coach for the Chargers, but they still gave him a 10-year show cause penalty, which is set to start in 2028. Now, you may be wondering, well, why is it starting so late? And it is because he has a show cause penalty for another case that he was involved in. Now let's move on to Sharon Moore, who is the current head coach for the Wolverines, where he has a 2-year show cause penalty, and he is suspended for 3 games, 2 of which were imposed by the University of Michigan, plus an additional one that was imposed by the NCAA that is for next season. And then moving on to Connor Stallions, who is the staff member that was doing all the sign stealing. He has an 8-year show cause penalty. And then we have Leonard Robinson, who was the former staff member for the University of Michigan, and he has a 3-year show cause penalty. Now, Michigan is appealing this decision, but I mean, wow. The NCAA really hammered down on their penalties on the Wolverines. So we're just going to have to wait and see how this appeal goes. What do you think?